This is as corrupt as it is socialistic.
Well, Obamacare is very unpopular with the American people, so let's talk about that for a moment. I think, when you say, oh, it's socialized medicine, and people say, well, no, it's not, it's this and that, but I think it creates the infrastructure for socialized medicine.
Well, it's clearly headed for socialized medicine. He said we could keep our own plan. The Willis Group that I point out in my book says only 30% of the employers right now are going to be able to keep their plan. It creates an IPAB, Independent Payment Advisory Board, which is clearly to make top-down command control decisions. It will interfere with the patient-doctor relationship. The doctors say they're going to retire. They're recommending their other people not to get into medicine. The data is all there. And so the cost curve, he said, is going to bend down. It's double what he said it would be. Shameless. They knew. They were lying. They doubled and phonied up the accounting on the doctor fix and double counting Medicare. So really, this is as corrupt as it is socialistic, and it's clearly designed to lead us to single payer. And Obama said in a speech, I can't remember who it was to, maybe it was Move On or some radical group in 2007, I'm for a single payer plan. It may take us 15 years, but we'll get there. He's a gradualist. He'll get there.
But so do you think the court decision, if it goes the way that some people expect, is enough, or do you think you have to go back into Congress and repeal the entire thing?
Well, it depends on how they do it. There's no savings clause in there. And
sure.
There usually is savings clause in legislation which says...
Seemed like a mistake, right? Because they were rushing it, right?
Well, I guess. Who knows with them? Everything's calculated with these community organizers. But they say, if this thing fails, if this provision fails, we expressly tell the courts who may be reviewing this that we want the rest of it to be upheld. And you'll see that in contracts. I'm a lawyer, do contracts, that you have savings clauses in contracts too. If this clause of the contract is deemed unenforceable, the rest remains enforceable. But here, the court's not bound to honor anything. It's the Supreme Court. They can do what they want. And they may determine, who knows what ultimately will affect. Usually the originalists and those who read the Constitution according to its original intent and interpret statutes according to the rules of statutory construction will say, doesn't have a savings clause, it logically can't pay for itself because that mandate is what gave it its economic vitality. Sure. It doesn't have economic or financial vitality, but to the extent that it does.
Without the mandate, you
can't afford it.
Can't afford it even in fantasy.
Can't afford it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we've gone down the road here and we've got it somewhat. And are they going to say it's too far gone? I don't think so. I don't think that. Now,
Democrats argue you're going to take insurance away from 30 million people. I mean, this is the typical
It's so
way,
absurd. And by the way, already Obamacare has decreased the amount of people insured. Now, I don't think in the end game it would, but they would impose rationing in order to get everybody. Everybody talks about insurance coverage being the end game. The end game is coverage. I mean, is care and access to care, and people have access to care irrespective of insurance. But we don't need to get into the nuances